Hey, what's going on, y'all? Sorry, I'm trying to adjust my camera here. What's going on? Sean here for the Transform Your Physical Health Live, here to answer your health and fitness related questions, especially stuff that's about, like I say, fitness, exercise, calisthenics, body weight exercise, weight loss or fat loss. I prefer the term fat loss. Um, Fasting, a whole plethora of health and fitness related topics. It's kind of like what I'm fond of. Um, so yeah, put your question in the chat. And aside from that, I'm gonna kind of like talk about something that I came across here, um, health related in the news or just kind of online. So let's go. So I came across this study that is titled "Obesity Prevalence Continues to Rise in the United States." Continues to rise. Now, without even getting into details, that right there is something else, something just to just um to just kind of sit with for a moment. Here it is, 2024. Obesity has been a crisis for decades since, and I'm actually going to go ahead and look up some stuff here now, um, so I can kind of make sure that my numbers are right. So let's see. Obesity has been an issue for a long time. We live in a society that has a very um that pays a lot of that has a huge healthcare cost to solve issues such as these. And yet we continue to see a rise in obesity. Now, just so you can understand what obesity is in case you don't understand, obesity is a special class of overweight, okay? Specifically having to do with what you call your body mass index. So, a body mass index between 20, I think, to 25, a number of 20 to 25 is considered normal. Over 25 is um, overweight. Over 30 is like a special class of overweight called obesity. And I haven't looked that up in a while. I need to make sure that those numbers are accurate. It's something that I um haven't really looked up in a while because I've looked it up in the past. But yeah, that's how that is. So obesity continues to climb in our society. Even though we spend a whole lot of money on healthcare, where is you know, these are things I think that we have to kind of think about because it's like is paying money making a difference? And or another question is money going to the right places? Why are we having such issues with something like obesity when we're pouring so much money into our healthcare system to solve things like this? Okay. And I believe it's because we're not really dealing with the real problems. Or perhaps we are, but we're dealing with them in the wrong ways. We're not really solving whatever the root issues are. Okay. So let's just kind of dig into this study a little bit. So this study says, well, a key point from the study, according to this point here, it says predictors of weight loss included type 2 diabetes status, older age, male sex, higher BMI, and Asian race or ethnicity. So these are the things that predicted whether or not people would experience um, notable weight loss or not. Um, so let's see. Okay, let's see. I'm just trying not to just read through this all the way, um, because there's a lot of details here. Okay, let's see. Predictors of weight loss. Yeah. So apparently, I'm sorry, y'all. Forgive me. It's just a lot of technical stuff here. Usually, I might do like a longer form video where it's not live, where I kind of really look into this stuff and kind of extract out more of the important details. But it's a lot of percentages and technical data details here. I'm trying not to just read it straight. But let's see. Researchers source data from the All of Us research program to analyze weight trajectories and the prevalence of significant weight loss across a 5-year period among U.S. adults aged 18 to 70 years. The primary outcomes were the percentage of participants who achieved at least 5% total body weight loss within 5 years. Um, Among the cohort of 30,862 patients, 53.1% were aged between 41 and 60, 60.5% were women, and 47.2% were non Hispanic white, 22.5% were non Hispanic black. Okay. Um, Comorbidities, most common, in other words, other health problems in addition to obesity were hypertension and hyperlipidemia. So hyperlipidemia, I believe, is kind of like cholesterol, it's like fat in the blood. And then type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease were present among 19.8 and 12.4% of the cohort, respectively. Okay. 25.8% lost at least 5% of their total body weight over 5 years, while 68.5% of patients with severe obesity achieved similar weight loss. However, only 6.5% of those with severe obesity reduced their BMI, their body mass index, to less than 30 kilogram per meter squared within 5 years. Weight gain of at least 5%. Total body weight was observed among 30. Okay. 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 So basically, all this study is really saying is kind of like the key, going back to the key point that um, the prevalence of obesity continues to increase. But the people who seem most likely, I guess, to lose weight, maybe, um, it's like people of older age, people of male sex, and people of Asian race. So that's very interesting. I had to kind of dig in a little bit more, so I'm not just kind of like reading here on the live. But the main thing I really want to harp on here is that obesity is still going up in America. It's still going up. It's still going up in America, and we're spending all this money, and it's not going obviously where it needs to go if we're going to really deal with the issue. I've said this before that right now in the United States of America, we're at almost 3/4 of our whole population overweight. Almost 3/4 of our whole population being overweight. That is huge. It's absolutely huge. Okay. And you have to ask yourself why. Why are we dealing with health issues like these? I mean, weight issues in particular, obesity at that. And so the things I think about are the advent of high levels of processed foods in our food system, kind of around World War II time period. Or not or, but and the gradual kind of like trajectory of, you know, work that we do from being like a physical thing to more so like mental, which I'm not mad at that. It's just that it has issues. um and remember, if you have health and fitness questions, just make sure you put them in the chat and I'll answer them here on live. But again, we have these problems with obesity that are not being solved, and we're spending money on insurance and this and that. And now the weight loss drugs and whatnot are doing very well, But again, regardless of that, we just have to know that they're not really solving anything. All they're doing is helping you to deal with the acute weight gain issue, but not helping you to like deal with why it's happening. And and again, whether or not you choose to use a weight loss drug, that's really up to you. But the reason why it's really important to address it at the root is because one, you can be malnutritioned when you're using like, weight loss shortcuts and whatnot. Because a lot of times when people are in today's society, excess weight tends to not be so much of an issue of like gluttony, like eating too much. In my opinion, I think obesity and stuff like that would be in the past due to like overindulgence in the sense of eating too much food. Maybe eating richer kind of foods as well, but the rich foods weren't necessarily so processed, because they couldn't be. People didn't have all the mechanics and all this kind of stuff to process food the way they do now. Nowadays, I believe that it is more of overindulgence eating the wrong types of food, highly, highly processed foods, which will mess your hormones all up, jack up your insulin and result in weight loss. I mean, weight gain very, very, very easily, way more easily than it used to be back in the day, which is why you have such a big problem where most of our society in America is overweight. Okay. So so anyhow, I think that the fact that obesity continues, and I'll link to this study so you can see it yourself. The fact that obesity continues to rise in today's America shows that the solution, at least with the way that the current health system is, it's not going to be found with the current health system. It's not. It's going to be found when you and I actually learn how to kind of overcome the challenges that we're presented with on a day-to-day basis with like food addictions that our society creates through like highly addictive, highly processed foods. That's where the solution is gonna come from. When we learn to really overcome those things and really be the master of our own souls. Because these addictive foods and substances and highly toxic foods and substances are not going away. They're not going away. And so we have to step up and actually kind of make some changes and learn to kind of regulate how much of convenience culture we're gonna absorb, what's cool, and then what are we gonna like draw the line at. Okay. Because really convenience culture is like messing us up and it's causing these kind of issues where obesity continues to rise. How much money do we have to actually spend until we're like, okay, we're not really solving this obesity issue? We're still in an epidemic. Our kids are dealing with high levels of obesity and even diabetes and stuff like that, stuff that we thought was adult disease before. So what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do differently? So anyhow, that's pretty much all I have for today, y'all. I'll link to the study so you can kind of look at it yourself. Um, Let me see something real quick. Let's see. Um, yeah, I'll link to this study so you can see it yourself about obesity still going up in America. But just be empowered. Again, the solution I believe is not necessarily going to come from our healthcare system or from anywhere else for that matter. Um, but just be empowered yourself to understand how much power you have to make a change. And if you're really going to not be a statistic, you have to be I believe that the solution is going to be more so from us taking charge and not allowing ourselves to kind of get sucked up into the system with addictive foods and ultra sedentary lifestyles. Okay, we have to be empowered. That's why I'm always saying what I say. Your doctor is not responsible for your health. You are. So be empowered. Remember, y'all, I'm here in the mornings at 10, Monday through Friday. So if you have health and fitness questions, make sure you pop on, ask your questions, make sure you tell somebody. And yeah, you'll come on at 10 o'clock, put your questions in the chat, and I'll be glad to answer them again on anything related to muscle building, weight loss, or I like to say fat loss. Um, eating well. If you have questions about what does it actually mean to eat well, or beat cravings, fasting, all these kind of things are the type of things I'm very interested in talking about because I believe they're um, the root to us really being able to be the healthiest that we can be. Okay. All right, y'all. I'm gonna let that be it. Take care. See you tomorrow morning at 10.